Ms. Draupadi Murmu is the first tribal woman to be elected as the President of India. She is the first Indian President to be born in independent India. The opposition's joint nominee was former Finance Minister Yashwant Sinha. The President of India holds the highest elective office in India and is elected for a period of 5 years. The election process is governed by the provisions of the Constitution and the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act 1952. It is supplemented by the provisions of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Rules 1974. The Act under the rules forms a complete code regulating all aspects of conduct of elections to the office of the President. The qualifications required by an applicant to contest the election to the office of the President of India is governed by Article 58. The person must be a citizen of India, should have completed 35 years of age, and be eligible to be a member of the Lok Sabha. The candidate should not be holding any office of profit under the Government of India or the Government of any state or under any local or other authority. However, the aspirant may hold the post of President or Vice President or Governor of any state or Minister of the Union or any state and is eligible to contest the election. A maximum of 4 nomination papers can be filed and only one security deposit be made. A nomination paper of a candidate for the election is made in Form 2, appended to the Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Rules 1974. The contestant has to be supported by at least 50 electors as proposers and at least 50 electors as seconders. A receipt of the security deposit of 15,000 rupees issued by the returning officer or by the Reserve Bank of India or in a government treasury should be furnished with the nomination paper. It is also mandatory to furnish a certified copy of the candidate's name in the current electoral roll for the parliamentary constituency in which the candidate is registered as an elector. All nomination papers are received and scrutinized by the returning officer during the period specified for the purpose by the Election Commission. The applicant, one proposer or one seconder of each candidate is to be present while filing the nomination. The authority to conduct and make appointments to elections to the office of the President is vested with the Election Commission of India or ECI under Article 324. The Secretary General, Lok Sabha or Secretary General Rajya Sabha is appointed as the returning officer by rotation. Secretaries and another senior officer of legislative assemblies of all states including NCT of Delhi and Union Territory of Puducherry are also appointed as the assistant returning officers. This time, various WhatsApp groups were created for the returning officers, ECI officials and security persons to monitor and coordinate the activities with state headquarters, Parliament and Election Commission of India. Observers were deputed to all places of poll set up in states and union territories as well as in Parliament to keep a watch on the poll process and a check if any irregularity were to occur. 2 observers were also deployed for the counting process at Parliament House. The ballot papers are printed in 2 colors, in green for use by members of Parliament and in pink for use by the members of the state legislative assemblies. The ballot papers are printed with 2 columns. The first column contains the names of the candidates and the second column for marking preferences by the elector for each candidate. They are printed in Hindi and English for use by MPs and in the official language of the state and in English for use by the MLAs of each state. Unique serial numbered pens of violet ink were supplied by the Election Commission to the electors for voting. Unlike the Lok Sabha or Assembly elections, where the citizens choose their representatives, the President is elected indirectly. An electoral college comprising the elected members of Parliament of both the houses of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha and the members of the legislative assemblies of all states and also of the National Capital Territory of Delhi and the Union Territory of Puducherry. All members are elected by the people and they in turn vote for the President. The members nominated to either House of Parliament or the legislative assemblies of states are not included in the electoral college. 771 members of Parliament and 4,025 members of the legislative assemblies were entitled to vote. Over 99% cast their votes on Monday, that is 18th of July 2022. Room number 63 in Parliament House, New Delhi and another 30 polling stations in all state legislative assembly secretariats were fixed as places of polling. Polling was held between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. at the 31 locations. According to Article 55(3) of the Constitution, the election to the office of President of India is held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote, and the voting at such election is by secret ballot. The Constitution 84th Amendment Act 2001 provides that the population of the states for the purposes of calculation of value of votes for the presidential election shall mean the population as ascertained at the 1971 census. The total value of votes for MLAs for 16th presidential election is 5,43,231. The total value of votes for MPs is 5,43,200. The total value of votes of electors for the presidential election 2022 is 10,86,431. Foolproof security arrangements were made to ensure the safe custody and hassle-free transportation of ballot boxes from the Election Commission of India to the states on the 12th and 13th July 2022. Similar transportation arrangements were made for the state teams to bring back the 30 polled ballot boxes. All the ballot boxes were transported to Parliament House, the place of counting, on the 19th of July 2022. The counting of votes was taken up today. The new features introduced for the 16th presidential election 2022 were the facilitation for COVID-19 positive electors. They were permitted to vote in the last hour of polling or after all non-COVID electors had cast their votes. 2 COVID positive electors from the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly and 1 COVID-19 positive member of Parliament chose to cast his vote in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. The Election Commission also directed the returning officer and assistant returning officers to ensure the use of eco-friendly and biodegradable material and eliminate the use of prohibited plastic material. The oath-taking ceremony is in the presence of the Chief Justice of India or, in his absence, the senior-most judge of the Supreme Court. The victory of Ms. Draupadi Murmu has created history in Indian democracy. A leader from a humble background has reached the nation's highest post. The 15th President of India is the daughter of a tribal family coming from a very ordinary house in Orissa. Ms. Draupadi Murmu has always worked very hard for her community, and this achievement helped her to garner immense recognition. This is Saira Mushtaba, News Desk.